thank you for your time as always, Willie. Just wanted to get a bit of a lowdown on where you are with your squad this week. How's everybody feeling?
Yeah, look, they're feeling good. Probably the one that's the main concern is Jesse Sue, that probably didn't pull up as well as we'd like. So he's gone to get some more scans on his adductor and hamstring again. So we'll know more later on the week, but possibly, it'd be unlikely that he'll play. Dean Hadley's back on track, which is good to play. So other than Jesse, then everyone else seems ready to go.
Does that feel like a relatively straight swap for you, Dean, for Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, Dean's done a wonderful job all year. So whether he started, in prop, the front row position, come off the bench, he's even started in the back row as well. So no doubt he'll do a job. He's done a job all year for us, and he's been a very important part of our team. And it'd be good to have him back. He's got a few things to tick off, but we're hopeful.
How's Jesse reacted to the injury? Because obviously he spent a lot of time out. How's he feeling?
Yeah, no, naturally frustrated. Look, Jesse worked extremely hard to get back, and it was one of those, he slipped and early on in the game. So we're hoping it's nothing major because he got through the game. But one thing I know about Jess, he's a tough lad, and if he's struggling with an injury, then there's a genuine reason for that. But he got through the game last week, and we've sent him for scans. He needs to go for some more, just to find out exactly what it is and the extent of it. So it's too hard to say at the moment where he's at. But no doubt, Jess is frustrated, which is understandable because he's worked extremely hard to get himself back.
Rhys Kennedy was your 18th man last week. Could he consider himself unlucky to miss out and obviously be in the frame for this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone available now who doesn't play is unlucky because it's just now like we've got a process in terms of how we pick a team with my staff. We're going to have some different opinions. We've got different opinions, and when we have those selection meetings, it's just where it's at the moment. So it's whoever doesn't play, no doubt, will feel. It wouldn't be a great feeling because everyone deserves to. It's been a squad effort this year. We've delved right into the depth of our squad, which we knew we would, and then guys like Matty Staunton and obviously Rhys, who's played a number of games. There's Jesse, but probably unlikely this week. There's a lot of middles there. Sam Luckley, George King. There's a lot of middles to choose from, and you can only pick 17. So. It's one of those, as I say, where there's going to be mixed opinions on who should be in, and I suppose that's what you want because it means that they're all playing well.
Nobody ever wants a headache, but a positive selection headache must feel like a welcome one for you, particularly at this time of the year, does it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that mid-year period or early on in the year, we had a team that we couldn't have this luxury with. You want to be in those positions. You'd like to be in those positions every week, but we weren't for a while there. And now, we, aside from Jess, we've got a team that, as I said, there's a lot of players that can make that 17. Unfortunately, we can only pick 17 players, and we know that the 17 we pick will be ready to go, and they'll put their hand up.
You've beaten Wigan once in a semi-final this year. Does that give you confidence going into this one that you can recreate those heroics at Headingley at the DW on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, we've had some wonderful games against Wigan. Obviously, the last game we played at their place, we didn't before the Cup, but the three before that they've been really tight games. So both teams will be confident in terms of what they can do. We're confident in our ability, what we can do if we put it together, as Wigan as well would be. So there's no doubt it'll be another entertaining game. It'll be a physical game, and it'll go down the wire again. Because one thing we know about Wigan, they don't go away, and they won't go away this week. And we're hoping that that we'll put in a performance again that we're proud of. Not hoping, that's what we're going to do.
You were there. You played there, of course. We've touched on how you went back a little bit earlier in the season. It wasn't the return that you wanted, but I remember you saying it was nice to see it all again and be back around the place. You know how they're regularly in the upper echelons of the Super League. Does that mean it's a more difficult job for you this weekend, going in as Rovers, who are just now this season really finding the kind of top four, top form? Does that make your job harder going against one of Super League's regulars?
Oh, look, I think it's exciting. I think it's a great opportunity. Wigan are there. I've said it before. There's no fluke that Wigan are in that top four, or the league leaders. They won, the league leaders shield this year because of what they do year in, year out. St Helens are the same. They've got their club right many years ago, and their culture's right. There's no coincidence that they're there year in, year out because they've got things right many years ago. They've got their culture right, and they'll always, bring in the right people and the right players, which they do. So, we want to be a top four club year in, year out. We're a top four team this year. We deserve to be there. But as I said, it's an exciting opportunity for us this week, to go to Wigan. We've beaten every team in the competition, bar Warrington, got us two tight games. So, we're confident in our ability. And now it's just a matter of doing what's worked for us all year and putting in a performance that we're proud of.
The home advantage was huge for Rovers at Craven Park on Friday night. How do you topple the home advantage that Wigan have?
I think we've sold 4,000 out of 4,500 tickets, so it's pretty good following. There's no doubt, Wigan will have a home crowd there, but when you're looking at when you're hearing 4,500 KR fans, it's pretty loud. There's a pretty good following there, so although we're not playing at Craven Park, it's a decent following for us. So we're grateful. They've followed us all year, and they'll follow us again this week to Wigan. No doubt last week was a bit massive plus playing at home. Once we won that game against Wakefield, and then we realised the score, or found out the score in that Lee Wigan game. We were happy about that because we wanted to play here. Obviously, Lee wanted to play at their place, so it is an advantage. But I don't see it this week as a real disadvantage for us, especially with our fans going. Excuse me.
No worries. You've been incredibly dominant in this 6-game run that you're on, and mightily impressive form. Where do you see this one being won and decided on come Saturday?
Yeah, I think, like all games, I think the middle of the field. There's no doubt. Both packs physical. Wigan's known as a tough pack. It doesn't matter who's playing. I know they've got a few out as well, but they're a physical pack, and they'll try and go after us. But we will have a say in that. So, like all games, I'm a massive believer in, the rugby league games are won in the middle, then on the edges determined by how many, and that'll be no different this week. So we need to win that battle in the middle. If we do that, then we'll go a long way to getting a result.
You'll know as a halfback your life is so much easier when your pack's on the front foot. Is that the conversations being had to give, whether it's Mikey and Brad Schneider, whether it's Jordan and Mikey, or whatever combination it is, the best chance to get on top of Wigan? Is that the gauntlet you've laid down to them?
Oh, look, we want our pack being dominant every week, but I think as a half and as a spine, you have to look at Nathan Cleary and what he did in that last 20-odd minutes. He was on the back foot. So as a half and a 6 and a 7, you can't say, just because we're on the back foot, that's why I couldn't get in the game because of that reason. It certainly helps. There's no doubt about that. But the best over there in terms of Nathan Cleary showed how to get in the game as a half and how to be dominant when you're on the back foot and change that momentum to being on the front foot. And our guys can do the same. So as much as we want to dominate their middle, our halves and our spines still need to find a way to manage the game and manipulate it so they can get in the game as well, even when they are on the back foot.
Did you expect, when you took over at the start of this season, to be competing for both major finals in the Super League?
I don't think we, initially when we sat down and had a chat as a group, we wanted to be a top 4 team. There's no doubt about that. We were striving to be a top 4 club in everything we do. I don't want to put a ceiling on it because we're still going. So the job's not done yet. And as much as we're pleased with what we've done so far, I don't like putting a ceiling on things when you're still in a competition. So we're hoping to go 2 more games, and then I'll be able to give you a clearer sort of answer after that.
Just a couple of other bits. Obviously, a Coach of the Month award for yourself for September. How do you take that accolade?
Yeah, it's an honour. I said yesterday, the staff and the players have worked extremely hard this past 5 weeks. Obviously, after we got beat in Wembley, it could have changed our season for the worse. We went to St Helens, and I thought we were good in periods in that game, but overall we weren't overly proud of our performance there. But what we did is we looked at the areas that we needed to work on, and pretty much, I know it's cliche and I've said it a few times, but came back to what we do well, and that's all we're focused on. We've done that since pre-season. We've just worked hard on the areas that we want to be good at, focused on those, and we do know who we are as a team. So, as I said, the staff and players have certainly, they've led the way in terms of the last sort of 5 weeks.
It almost feels obvious to ask, but as this month's Coach of the Month, how do you assess the dangers of people like Jay Field, Bevan French, and how do you ensure that they don't have the chance to give you any headaches in the game?
Look, there's no doubt that they're going to give us headaches at some stage. Like you want to go in with a perfect game plan of nullifying those guys and stopping what they can do. It's just minimising it. That's the key, because you can talk about winning rucks and we want to have this and we want to do that, like in terms of technical and tactical things that we've worked on this week. But there's going to be at some stage in the game that we're going to be under stress. Once fatigue sets in, they're going to get a quick ruck. Field's going to find himself in space at some stage. So will French. The key for us is to minimise that. And then we've got a plan around, how to stop that as well. So, again, what we can control is doing what where we finish the ball, or put the ball in last plays, how much pressure we put them under, by how hard we run, all the simple basic stuff in the game, what our line speed's like, areas of that we can control, we will. And then, as I say, there'll be some stage that we'll be under a little bit of stress, which we need to handle as well.
And one of the incredibly important pieces of that puzzle, I suppose, is Jez Litton, and just a word from you on his new 4-year deal this week.
Yeah, it's great news for the club, great news for Jez. Obviously going to be a really, really important part of, person in our team for many years to come. Obviously, it's 4 years as a minimum. He's a popular member of our team. He's worked hard. He's always working hard. And as I said, I believe the best is to come from Jez. Another pre-season. Hopefully he can find his way into that England team. If he doesn't, then he'll just keep working hard and put himself in the picture again next year. But he's going to be an important player for our club for many years.
Willie, appreciate your time. Best of luck Saturday.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Willie. I'll jump in if that's all right.
Hey, James. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. There's been a lot of talk about Danny Maguire in recent days and his future at the club. Can you give the latest on that situation?
No, James, not today, mate. I'm not going to talk about anything I'm obviously aware things have been in the media, but we've got a game in 3 days' time, mate, so I just want to talk about that.
No, fair enough. It's just a case of if you can put it to bed today, can you say anything to put it to bed and just make the focus be on the game over the next few days? No,
as I say, I prefer just to talk about the game today, and there's obviously things that have been in the media this week, and we're aware of it, and all we want to do is concentrate on Saturday.
Yeah, there are some concerns among the fans that the talk of under contracts, coaches and players leaving could be a distraction ahead of such a big game. Is the group as united as it's ever been?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, it's rugby league. You're always going to have, there's going to be things in the media all the time. There's distractions week in, week out that obviously that the media don't find about or the fans don't find out about. So this is no different in terms of, there's some media out there, but it's got nothing to do with, with us at the moment in terms of what we want to do on Saturday. As I say, we've got three days out from our biggest game of the year, and our focus is just purely around that. And we'll continue to do what we've done, all year, and that's work hard for each other, and the players will do that. There's no doubt about that.
There might be some query in the timing of all the things going on in the background, but is it a case of plans for the following season never stop?
Sorry, mate?
I was just saying there might be some query in the timing of everything bubbling in the background, but is it a case of plans for the next year never stop?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, again, going back to we're in the game where you can't control certain things, can you? So what we can control is what we did today at training, and what our team meeting was like this morning, and what we're going to turn up like at captain's run. That's all we can control. As I said, there's been many things that have happened this year that have been distractions or could have been distractions, but you can't let that affect your performance. We're professionals, and staff and players professionals and get paid to do a job. There's no excuse when certain things are, come out or said in the media or whatever it may be, that's going to affect the performance. It's not the case. We're professionals and we've got to get on with it.
Yeah, just on Danny Maguire, whether he's maybe on the end of the season or not, is he fully committed to the cause and getting this result Saturday?
Yeah, absolutely he is. Absolutely he is. Of course, there's no reason why he wouldn't be. He's a professional. He's a competitive person, player, coach, and like all of us, all he cares about this weekend is winning, of course.
Yeah. Just onto the game, it's often debated whether it's better to have a week off or be battle-hardened from the week before. Do you feel it's important to keep that momentum going?
Yeah, for us, definitely. I think when you have 6 on the bounce, it's you want to keep that going. So the players are fresh. We still have our we still train with intensity with our sessions, but we keep it nice and short. And the players are buzzing on game day, so that's what they'll do again this Saturday. We had a good session this morning. They'll have a day off, and then light captain's run ready to go. So for us, we want to keep that momentum. I think it's really important at this time of the year to keep that going. So having a week off for us at the moment wouldn't be ideal.
Yeah. Wigan had a week off last year and then lost to Leeds after winning every home game up until then. Will you be looking to put some doubt in their minds early?
Oh, look, we like Wigan want to do. They want to start fast. We want to start fast, and you need to put fatigue in Wigan, because if it's a stop-start game and and they play the way they want to play, then they've got some players that can hurt you. So the way we approach it won't be any different. Obviously from what's happened to them last year. They're a quality side. They've got their learnings from the game that they played against us in the semi. They're undefeated since then. So we are playing against a very, very good team and well coached. We've got a lot of respect for them, but it's going to be we want to get to that grand final. So we need to, as I said, we need to start fast, and we need to put pressure on them, for 80 minutes.
Good stuff. Thanks, Willie. That's all from me. Much
Thanks, James. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. All the best, Saturday.
Thank you, mate.
Hi, Willie. All right?
Good, Joe. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thanks. Just a little bit more on Jez. Obviously, we've spoke about him a lot, hasn't we? But we know Matt Parcell has only got a year left on his contract. So I know when you did the press release, it's very much the case of Jez ready to take the bull by its horns. And you must be delighted to tie him down because, like you just said to James there, you are planning long-term every season, and you seem to have got your 9 in order now, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Jez was always going to be our long-term 9. Well, that's what we wanted. We've tied Jez down now for a minimum of 4 years. Maddie's still doing a wonderful job. They're both going well at the moment. But the long-term plan is obviously for Jez to be our 9, which Maddie's aware of that. Maddie was he's already got his plans and what he's thinking over the next couple of years himself. So the focus is developing Jez so then he can be our number 9 for the next however years he wants it.
They seem to really complement each other as well, don't they? And as long as you've got Matt Parcell in your ranks, he'll be laying off him as well because he's been to a grand final. So you'll be hoping for your big game players like that to get you through it on Saturday, because them leaders that you talk about so often, they're going to be so important, aren't they? Especially in the back end of the contest on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we I say it all the time. We're fortunate, and I'm fortunate that we've got some great leaders in our team. Matty's very experienced now, and you can hear him in team meetings. He's getting more and more vocal this time of the year. He's obviously had won competitions at Leeds, and he's been through it. So it's helpful. We've got our leadership group, but we've certainly got some leaders around that as well. They're all leaders in their own right, and it's handy to have.
And final one from me, just Ryan Hall, how's he doing? I know he played on last week, but he seemed to have a little bit of an injury just before the half-time out. So was he all right in the end? I know he played on and that, so he can't be too much of a doubt because you haven't mentioned him. But
yeah. No, it was just a decent cork that he got. Obviously, the wrong spot, but he got through it. Hawley being Hawley, he knows how to get through it. Bite on the mouth guard, and he kept going, and then still played a class game. So that's what he's been doing for many years.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, mate. Best of luck weekend.
Cheers. Thanks, Joe.
Hey, Willie, it's Gary. All right?
Hey, Gary. One more, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Can I cast your mind back a few years? How different was being a Wigan player to being a Gateshead player?
We won more in Wigan. that was a memory. Gateshead was very enjoyable as well. I think we just missed the six. But what I did, I suppose the difference was Gateshead was only around for a year, so we're still trying to find our identity as a club. And obviously they moved the whole year after, where going to Wigan, they knew who they were and what their identity was. So, as I said before, they've always been a hard-working club with good people there, and they've just built on that for many years. I played with Chris Radlinski, their general manager, who is doing a wonderful job over there. And it was a pleasure to play that year. As I said, I've said it before, it was one of the better years of my life, most enjoyable years of my life, and that's probably the two differences. But I enjoyed Gateshead as well.
When you play for Wigan, particularly as a halfback, does the players who've been before you, what the clubs have treated before you, almost like add pressure on your shoulders to produce the goods when you're in that shirt at the time?
I think when you put a Wigan shirt on, there's an expectation. There's no doubt about that, and that's what makes them the club that they are. That wouldn't have changed. There's no doubt about that. But I played with some pretty handy players. I played with, as I said, Chris Redlinski, Andy Farrell, Jason Robinson, Gary Conley, Steve Renoff. There's just to name a few. It was a Tez O'Connor. It was a class team. So Dennis Betts, another one. So they're all coming to mind now. So for me, I was only a kid at the time, but I had really good support around me, and they helped me. I was only 20, 21 at the time. But what they wanted to do was me to boss the forwards around, and then pretty much when Andy Farrell wanted the ball, fire it to him. So it was a pretty easy job for me. And the best part, as I said, it was the respect that they gave me as a young bloke, but I certainly have had a lot of respect for them, and I still do. So it was an enjoyable year. I mean, you have a look at Andy Farrell now doing wonderful things with Ireland. Yeah, he was one of the best leaders, if not the best, that I've come across. So it was an enjoyable year.
You say that the forwards wanted you to boss them around. You're a sort of youngish halfback. Are you sort of looking and thinking, that's Andy Farrell, that's Dennis Betts, what am I doing ordering them around?
No, well, see, Andy was playing 5'8" at the time, so he wanted me to do that. So then I could get him in a bit of space, and he'd do his thing. And all I had to do, I had the easy job, fire a 15, 20-metre pass, and then he'd do the rest. But no, the forwards, I learned at a young age, and at South Sydney, and I'll never forget it when Craig Coleman was walking out with a front rower and pretty much basically said that the forwards want to be told what to do, and then Dennis Betts said something similar to me when I arrived at Wigan. So it gave me a lot of confidence and made me realise, I've learnt that at South, and then now they're telling me to do the same thing. So I soon realised that's what halves need to do, and that's what forwards want you to do. But as I said, I had the easier job. All I had to do was get Andy Farrell the ball, and he did the rest with Steve Renouf and guys like that.
Just one last one on KR. Is the reality of KR different to the perception you had before you walked through the door, maybe? The
reality of where we are now, or
of where you are, the team, the club as a whole, just the whole reality of the club now you're in it. Is it different or perhaps bigger than what you thought it would be before you walked through the door?
Look, I knew coming over, bring my family over the other side of the world, that I wanted to make sure that it was the right decision. I wanted to make sure that I was going to the right club, and the way that the club, the teams performed and what the club's doing off the field, we knew. I spoke to Paul Aiken many times, and we spoke to each other about our vision for the club itself and the team. So it's no sort of surprise, or it's no, this is where we wanted to be, but we're nowhere near, or we're not where we want to be either, if that makes sense. I've said it before, like we're a top 4 team this year. The top 4 teams are left in the competition, but we talk about being a top 4 club in everything we do. So, to do that, you can't just do it one year. You need to do it year in, year out. So we've got a job to do this weekend against Wigan. We want to get to Old Trafford. We want to be playing in the big games. And then we'll reassess and review the year, and then work on the areas that we need to be better in next year. There'll be a lot to hold on to as well. So, yeah, to answer your question, this is the position that we wanted to be in.
Cheers, Willie. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Hi, Willie. Just a quick one from me. We've obviously been talking a hell of a lot about Tompkins and Roby this week in the build-up to the game on Friday, and it being the end of the road for one of them. Obviously, the magnitude of their achievement sort of stands out, but do you think Sean deserves to stand alongside them in terms of the sustained impact he's made on the club and the sport?
Sean Kenny Dow, yeah. Look, I mean, they've been doing it over here for many, many years. Obviously, English-based players have played, I'm not sure the exact amount of games, 500 plus games. So Sean's going to leave. There's no doubt he'll leave a legacy at our club. There's no doubt about that. So, we're extremely proud of what he's done for us and what he will continue to do for us. And we acknowledge that internally. The fans love him. The staff and the players love him as well. So, we're proud of his achievements. Not finished yet, but also I'm looking forward to helping Sean post footy, post rugby. He's got a job with us next year as a development, as assistant coach, with the club. So he'll continue to do some good things for the club, no doubt about that.